Diff Taurus Smoosma. Well, I did that wrong. And live long and prosper. And welcome to a strange new pod. I am your host this week, Eric, joined by my trusty bridge crew, Captain Julian, the Borg Queen of Puns, Ensign Brittany, the one. Oh wait, no, Hawk's not here. Unfortunately, he's off on a shore leave, and the president of Navarre, the unifier of unification, the administrator who puts the high in high council, Ensign Aaron. Glory to you and your houses.
Hey guys.
Navarre
I just got back from being on shore leave. I didn't even get to change, but I'm ready to go.
Nice. I shouldn't have had those salt and vinegar chips right before I started talking because my mouth is all like, that's okay. As always.
Voice acting 101, bro.
I know.
Get a crisp green apple up in there.
At least I didn't have milk. That's the high mark there.
Did you do your me?
Yep.
No, it's the puticas. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah, we'll put all those plosives in here for the
Real
editing later, right?
Yum, yum,
Yeah.
yum, yum, yum.
As always, a big shout out to Sam Dillard and Samo Studios for the amazing intro and outro music that gets us copyright strikes from a sketchy company in Brazil. Yay.
Woo!
Thumbs up.
Thanks, Brazil.
If you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please keep the questions and comments coming all night long because this is a big episode. It's the first of a big series for us, the Best of Species. And tonight we're going to have a look at the quintessential Star Trek species, the Vulcans. But before we get to all that goodness, Julian, can you let the fine people know how they can support the show?
Yeah, so head on over to patreon.com/astrangenewpod. It is the only place that is a strange new pod, not just strange new pod. You can go there, and starting at just $1, you can support our awesome show. We already thank all the people who already do support it, but we have so many fun things if you join at the $2 level and up. So that's already a big perk. You get free stickers, and right now for the next few days, you can buy our exclusive Mirror Universe merch. I'm wearing a nice little pin there, which is awesome. And we do fun bonus podcasts where Aaron and I and some of our more raunchy and raucous other members of our Discord collective and Patreon collective get drunk and talk about good, bad, both
Fun episodes
of Star Trek. Yeah, Aaron does awesome drink videos. We've been doing gift making stuff. So a lot of awesome reasons to join our Patreon. And we are one patron away from 20. And if we do 20, we're going to announce a little bit of a new thing for Patreon. So if we get there, help us out. Spread the word.
We got a bowl to go.
Yeah. And then finally, when we get to 25 patrons, another incentive. I don't know if it's an incentive or maybe we're steering away from that. If we get to 25 before the end of March, the whole entire Strange New Pod crew on the podcast live is going to do a rousing, wonderful rendition of Faith of the Heart. So,
oh God, I'm sorry, you guys.
I don't know if
why are we punishing them for getting to 20?
No, it's good for them. We're punishing us.
Yeah, we're punishing us because no one wants that.
Everyone. I'm ready.
Eric, because you can sing. I can.
I also know how to play it.
That's awesome.
I watched.
Whatever you guys have sang at me.
I watched Enterprise today, and I hit that skip intro button all 3 times. It was
you
glorious.
Son of a.
I've only ever heard like the first 2 lines because Eric sings it all the time.
And Myra Allied on Twitch wants to know, wait, we're not going to sing the TOS lyrics?
We could. We tried that one time.
If we get to 30, we'll sing the TOS lyrics. Wait.
Have you guys heard the Stargate lyrics?
Oh, no.
I don't want to know.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk about that later. But the writers wrote the lyrics, and they did audio commentary on every episode. It's the greatest thing about the box sets. And in like the 240th, or I don't know, somewhere pretty deep in the series, they're like, should we sing this song? And he's like, well, we've never done that before. He's like, yeah, what the hell? This is like the billionth one. And they're like, Stargate, it's a great big world with a great big swirl, like something. And like it just
oh my God,
going.
that's
it's
wonderful.
Like,
Jaffa Cree, Choppa Eye.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're like, we're talking Stargate, it's a great big ship. Or you'll go far, you don't need a car or even a ship. Okay, I'm done.
Oh my God.
Indeed.
That's
wait
amazing.
Wait, you said we had rowdy collective people.
Raucous.
We don't have any rowdy people out there. Hi Giraffe.
Hello, Giraffe.
Hi.
Oh my God.
I feel so called out right now.
Literally summoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rowdy in all the best ways.
Aaron, did you want to give our shout out to the Patreon collective that we have?
I can certainly do that. Thank you to Simon Stagger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Mag, Ann Bradley, Spotted Giraffe, Mitch Thatcher, Rob, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos. Dang it, I'm gonna get Kangui. I'm going to
Kangui.
get this, my friend. I care about getting it right. JD Takako
Nagumo.
Thank you very much. I'm going to work on that one as well. Kara Kennedy, Patrick Hazard, and our newest collective member, Mark Manlapis. Tell me if I got that wrong.
He'll tell if he's new, so he'll tell us if we got it right in the chat later on.
Nice.
Aaron,
It's
I'm
important
proud.
for us
You were
to
put
get it
on
right.
the spot.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm here for you, and we love the patrons, and we can't do half the crap we do without them. So
Yep.
Yeah.
love you guys.
And
Yeah,
speaking
you
of
guys
putting
are
someone
Petra
on
the ball.
speaking of putting someone on the spot, Brittany, why don't you read the news?
I love news. I gotta find it. Okay, so the creators of Star Trek Fleet Command, which is a mobile game for iOS and Android, just released a web-based game where you can take the Kobayashi Maru. And much like its Trek film and television counterpart, it's nearly impossible to solve. Some of the prizes, if you do happen to beat the infamous test, include a lifetime subscription to CBS All Access. So, I mean, I guess Paramount Plus, are we climbing that mountain?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Mhm.
Are we gonna put in the Kirk today? No, more like we're gonna take a pike. Whatever. Anyway, take a pike. Anyway, only a handful of people have been able to complete it so far. So have you guys tried it out yet?
I didn't
Nope.
even know about this.
I didn't
but
know
I'm gonna
about it
do
either.
I think it literally
know.
launched today, so I had my try at it 10 times, and
Through your phone or through your computer.
Yeah, the sweet taste of failure. No, I mean, like, they tell you it's like, I think it's like 1 in 750,000 are the odds or something
Oh
like
shit!
that. So
I like
Never
it.
tell me the odds.
I keep trying to
I might
take
try it.
the
Actually.
Enterprise into the Nebula to see if I could like outsmart the Klingons, but we keep crashing into a planetoid and it doesn't work.
Do all the children get ejected into the space?
Yeah, and Ransom, you can just see Ransom in the background, like, yeah, let's do it again.
More
children.
I kind of want to try right now.
Is it on
We're gonna have
mobile
a-
too, or is it just on
No, I gotta
desktop?
record the
Just
show.
completely web based.
We'll
Uh,
just have Brittany in the background doing the live game.
see, it's
She's
like,
ah!
that
Yeah.
shit.
I'll be like, first try.
It's a dude playing Galaga on
Yes.
I love
the-
Galaga.
the thing,
The
Yeah,
helicarrier.
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 Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be great though if Brittany like defeated it live on the pod? That would be like.
I wouldn't
Fine.
believe her. She'd have to show us.
Oh. But you can just go to www.kobayashimaru.com.
Did you just say www dot? Like, what is this? 20 years ago?
Because
We
it's
all- well, we
web
had
based.
to
It's
for the
literally not
people.
an app. You have to go on the World Wide
No
Web.
one writes that shit anymore.
I did.
Is it a
No,
WordPress
you're
site?
silly.
You no. Did you
Then
spell? Did you spell Kobayashi right?
Yes, of course I spelled Kobayashi right.
Kobayashimaru right?
Yeah.
How dare you? How
Double-
dare you even
I will
ask?
double check on the sheet.
Have you played Fleet Command? Is it a good game? Like the
It's
mobile
not
game?
very- I don't like
No.
any of the mobile games though.
I generally don't either. So.
You
Eh.
could also go on our Twitter. I put the link there. I think.
Oh, someone should Twitch this later, like doing the Kobayashi.
Oh, that
Maru.
would
Yeah,
be
someone
fun.
said that on our Discord that we should like Twitch and try and complete it. I don't know. That could be fun.
You know, another kind of
I'm gonna go on our
cool
Twitter.
nerdy thing that's happening. There's this you guys know I'm in the other podcast. There's this other podcast that's all about Survivor, and they do these things called Brant Steals, which are Survivor simulations but with other like properties and characters. And they're gonna do this Brant Steal, and then they like talk it out. It's really fun. But they're gonna do one for the Paramount the mountain, all the characters who are climbing the mountain, every single
Amazing.
one.
Nice.
And they're going to put them into this like Survivor simulation and talk it out. It's like a 2-hour podcast. It's super funny, and they say what the characters are going to do, and I'm super excited about that. And if we don't get Burnham to be the sole survivor or Pike, I'm going to be real bummed. If it's Beavis, I'm going to lose my shit.
I would love it if it was Beavis.
Or
It
that
might be.
creepy puppet that was like sexy dancing.
Yeah, I don't know what that's from. What is that
I just
from?
want to let the audience know. It is not www.kobayashimaru.com. It's just kobayashimaru.com. If anything, it's an HTTPS thing. www will not take you there.
Damn, I just got called.
No,
the
I just
fuck
want them
out.
to know because I'm here. Like, if you go there, it looks like a 90s website. Like, there were just
Oh.
shit was like hyperlinks, and I was like, this can't be. this This cannot be CBS All Access.
WWW.
Don't do it.
So Talix on Twitch is
try
saying
right
that
now.
the puppet is from Crank Yankers. I forgot about that show.
Oh.
Wow.
Anchors, yeah.
Bam.
Can we log in through Facebook?
And
I
you
already
do
don't
need a
have
lot.
to.
You do need a Facebook login to play it. That is the one disadvantage if you are not on Facebook.
Do I need
Boo.
sound? That's what I
You
need to know.
don't need it, but it might be nice if you get like a red alert because if like you're flying into a planetoid.
You should definitely play it while we're on stream so I can just randomly call you
I'm
to
doing it
read
right
things. Anyway,
Uh,
like we
my
do.
phone just self-corrected it and took me to it. What a bummer. I wanted to see
Boom,
the 90s.
self correct because Brittany's still living with 90s technology like her cable box.
You still put WWW. You're the one who's at fault here. You should go into the corner and think about what you've done.
Oh, anyway, so like we do every week, we start off with this fun little question called the Strange New Loop. Bam. So, since we're talking about the Vulcans this week, I thought I'd ask you guys, if you were a Vulcan, what time period in Star Trek lore would you want to experience and why? Julian, go first. I think he has an answer.
Reunification.
Which one?
New one. Unification 3. I want 31st century or whatever century we're in now. I want to be living on Navarre, Far, wherever you, Pon Far. That's where
Whoa.
I want to be. I really want to see and be able to like go on Navarre and read the history of how unification finally happened and see if like Spock is just like this living legend on the planet. I think that would be just completely awesome. So yeah, totally Navarre in the latest iteration time period, wherever we are in Star Trek right now, with Romulans and Vulcans living semi-harmoniously. So yeah.
We already have a couple things on Twitch. Where is it? J Crab Sap says 2380s, and Spotted Giraffe says 31st century reunification. Oh man, Julian, one brain.
We are always.
And then Rob Digi says pre-Earth first contact, so I don't have to deal with those mouthy upstart humans. Damn straight.
Ooh.
What about you, Aaron?
I think first contact, like that exact time, would be kind of cool because you're getting to be the people to bring in a new species into the universe, I guess. And I think a good amount of Vulcans are wanting to do that. Infinite diversity, infinite combinations. Not all of them, but I would be, if I could be a Vulcan, I think that would be the kind of Vulcan I would be.
Yeah.
Like, who are these interesting humans? And then later, maybe probably regret that.
Yeah. What
Going
about
back to
yeah, sorry. No,
real
go for it.
quick
Yeah.
on Twitch, NY Rowlight wrote, I'm not enough into gongs to be a Vulcan. And Buick Space Wagon, who is our newest patron, by the way. So thank you again for joining our collective. Yeah, during reunification, so I can give Vulcan Society my notice and go be a Romulan.
Ooh. What about
Whoa.
you, Brittany?
I would pick Discovery current time period because I want to see what it's like. The fact that they're sharing Navarre together with the Romulans.
Plus, you get to have them rejoin the Federation. That would be a
Exactly.
cool
Hold on,
time.
there's 300 passengers on this ship.
Yeah, eject them all, especially if they're children. I'm gonna pick a little bit later than Aaron. I'm gonna pick like 10 years later, like the Enterprise era. I know you guys are surprised. I'm gonna pick the Enterprise era, but I thought the idea of them starting the Federation with Earth and the Andorians and all those folks, I thought that would be a really cool time, especially since they were calming down about the whole Earth being douchebags at that point.
Sorry, I had to give you the Mariner shut up because your love for Enterprise.
I love it. And we're going to talk about more Enterprise later. So let's jump into this. We're going to talk about, in this first of our Best of Species series, the Vulcans. So we're going to do a little bit of a short background history on the Vulcans, nothing too in deep. If you really want to get into how Vulcans were made, there's a really great Leonard Nimoy documentary where he talks about how him and Gene Roddenberry came up with certain aspects of the Vulcan species.
Well, when the mommy Vulcan and the daddy Vulcan get together and there's a pond far, then babies come out, little baby Vulcans. Done.
We need a little
with lizard babies.
Lizard babies.
That's a whole different type of. We should have like a little board book, like a
10,
children's
10.
board book about that. That'd be amazing.
Yes, maybe that'll be like a future Patreon thing. We can make a lizard baby book.
We could. I
A
have an
lizard
idea.
baby book.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Now I have ideas. So
Yeah.
the
Ooh, t-shirts.
Shh, shh. So the Vulcans, or Vulcanians, which I never knew was a thing, are a warp-capable species from the planet Vulcan. They're widely known for their strict adherence to logic and reason, as well as their stoicism. The Vulcans are biological cousins of the Romulans, descending from those who rejected Surak's reforms during the Time of Awakening. They have a long and complicated history, but in the 32nd century, the crew of the Discovery discovered that the Vulcan planetary government resolved the centuries-old issues of reunification between the Romulans and the Vulcans and renamed their home world Navarre. Whew, that was a lot. The Vulcan people were the first species to make first contact with humans, as seen in Star Trek First Contact, and the acronym Infinite Diversity in Infinite Combinations is the basis of their Vulcan philosophy and celebrated the vast array of variables in the universe. The philosophy, as well as the Vulcan people themselves, were often represented by a triangle over circle insignia. I'm speaking a lot.
You did a really good job.
Thank you. So, do you guys recall who your first Vulcan was that you saw on Star Trek? I know not all of us started with TOS. Me, I did, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, what did you think of their ideas, like the idea of what a Vulcan stood for, and what did you think of the mantra, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, which was so very, strong, especially when you first get introduced to Vulcans?
I mean, for me, I had seen TNG probably, before I can even remember. But the first series I really watched from start to end was Voyager. It started when I was 7 and it ended when I was 14. And so Tuvok was like the real, first Vulcan that was prominent. And there's something about his character that's really interesting because he's a full Vulcan. He's not like Spock where he's halvesies, And I think that, in other instances, we see Vulcans being played by day players, with varying degrees of quality, in my opinion. Some of them are too emotional. But I think he does it really well, and he has this sort of stoicism, and he's also in a place of authority. And I don't know, I just always found them very intriguing because they don't give you a lot, right? Like as the series go, you learn more and more about people, but the Vulcans only give you these tiny little bits. And so they're just, I don't know, there's something really intriguing about them. And I always loved Tuvok because I thought he played Vulcan, quote unquote, like the best.
Nice. I like it.
I'm going through a wave of emotions right now.
Are you? How many times have you lost?
I'm still playing.
Oh.
I haven't lost yet. I'm doing pretty well. I'm like 7 minutes in.
Win.
I'm almost taking down the second Klingon ship, so my eye is twitching.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Can we get like a 5th screen and it's just Brittany's screen?
You should be streaming on your
My eye
Vulcan.
is literally twitching. Hold on.
How the hell did you get past first? Oh, how do you get past?
How did I get past the first one? That one was easy. The second one's fucking rough.
Oh dang!
Fuck
This is
me.
happening
Hold
live
on.
on the pod, people.
Fuck!
She just
There
lost.
it is. We distracted her.
Keep going. This is the best.
7
thing
minutes
ever.
and I failed once. Okay, I'm gonna
7 minutes in heaven. Nope, not really. But
Oh, dang.
fuck me.
Julian, your
Matt,
first
This is the
Vulcan.
best.
So,
I successfully explored 2 places, then got into a fight with the Klingons, destroyed one of the ships, and then.
I want to know how you destroyed the ship.
Because you can't just fire, like you have to evade, fire, change the things you're firing. You can't just fire phasers. I did torpedoes, evasive, phaser, evasive.
I didn't even get the
torpedo,
option to
evasive.
fire phasers or torpedoes.
Eject
He's
crew,
a better
confuse
captain
them,
than
fire.
you.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Okay, well, anyway, I think I said this on the show before.
Fine, I'm back.
My
I'm
first
back.
my first Star Trek memory, or like the first time I can remember watching Star Trek, was a mix of TNG and then watching Undiscovered Country a bunch of times. So my first Vulcan was Spock. I didn't get it from TOS though. I got it from the TOS movies. I had a lot of bad shit going on when I was growing up, so I don't know how much like Spock's ideals and the Vulcan ideals like really rubbed off on me. I was focusing on like a lot of other things. Obviously it's that line is so important, right? Though the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So of course you go back and watch those movies, and of course now those things mean a lot to us, and I think we all we all strive that. But as a kid, watching Star Trek from a very young age, I don't think it hit me as hard as maybe someone who's coming into Star Trek the first time as an adult. So, but Spock, I mean, listen, yeah, Spock's my Vulcan. He's my right hand ear person.
I was like, where's he going with his right hand?
Yeah, right.
Umox.
Well, I think you're right too, because infinite diversity, infinite combinations, and the needs of the many, the needs of the few. I feel like these things are important now more than ever. And it's, I think Star Trek stands for what we should all stand for. Like you should be selfless, and you should think about other people first, and you should try, the more different we are, the better we are. The more we learn, the more we explore, the better we become.
Yeah, exactly. That way you don't get fired off of other star related shows. What about you, Brittany?
Yeah.
My first Vulcan, I guess, 'cause Deep Space Nine doesn't have anybody, so, and I didn't watch Voyager until this year. I had TNG a little bit, but I would say like if you asked me if I was younger, like think of a Vulcan, it would have been Spock. So it was just Spock. From whatever random episodes I saw of the original series or the movies, parts of them on TV, aka the last part of like 2 of the films, because I always feel like the last third. So up until like I guess the JJ verse films, I didn't even like watch that much Star Trek, and then so it's only in recent years that I've really gotten into a lot more than just Deep Space Nine. So
Interesting.
as far as I go with Vulcans, now I'm like I know all the things.
The Vulcan baseball team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all you need to
I
know.
would love that hat, the baseball cap with the symbol. Oh man, for me,
I'm really mad that I lost.
Oh, it's okay. You'll get it. You should just stream that from now on. Every time we see you on Twitch.
I'm just so sad. I wanted to do it my first try just to be like, guys, I just beat it, but
That would be insane.
That would be.
well, I even went into the neutral zone. They're just like, this is a big no-no, and I was like, we got to.
Yeah.
So,
That's what
trust
Kirk
me.
would do.
I'm still
Right.
losing my mind that you managed to blow one of their
because
chips.
I went to section 19 first, and like
Yeah,
that was way
you
too
did.
fucking easy.
Yeah.
I didn't even help the vessel. I was like, obviously, I'm gonna
Yes,
have the nearest
out.
station help you out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and they were like, that's cool, we gooch, solve the next problem, and move on to here. Boom, I was like, oh, Klingons, nice try, bitches, I'm gonna attack you first, then I'm gonna whoop, 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 then I'm gonna pop, 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 then I'm gonna whoop, pop, poop. So my shields were still above 50% by the time I engaged the next ship, so I was like, this is great, I can probably do it again. Got distracted, my shields dropped to 2%. I don't know how, I thought I hit evade, but I guess I did not. So they had 23%. 23% shields, and I died.
And you
That
can
is
use the
fucking
promo code A Strange New Pod at CBS All Access. I'm just kidding, we don't have that.
That's how
But
we
if
get paid.
Did, we could do that. CBS All Access
CBS, I almost
/ Paramount.
And YRL says Brittany is playing like a Terran.
You gotta. It's an impossible scenario, so that means you do what you gotta do.
Eric,
Wow,
just
like-
real quick
Morals are
before you
gone.
go,
yeah, for
Lexi
sure.
wrote, my first memories of Trek were being confused, how some days it would be Picard and Data, and other days Spock and Kirk. Yeah. And then Rob wrote, definitely Spock here. TOS was on TV all the time, even as I grew up watching TNG.
Mm-hmm. And what did Giraffe say? She said, do I even have to say mine? Is that
She
what she
doesn't.
said?
No,
she doesn't.
Heck, raw, what a snack.
Personally, for me, I think the first thing I saw was Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. So my first introduction to Spock was him wearing a robe and a little headband, and him being amazing. And that was a couple years before TNG came out. So I got a bunch of TOS reruns in before then. So Spock was my dude. He was, and I at the time I had also started doing karate. So the philosophies of the Vulcans were very much intertwined with that. So I'm doing this. Didn't feel right.
Did you learn the Vulcan neck pinch? Just like,
Yeah, no, that's not real. No, unfortunately.
shush.
I love
lied.
I love when Leonard Nimoy he talks about how he came up with that, because he was like, well, Vulcans are very smart, and they would know lots of things about the body, so maybe they know parts that we don't even know, and they'd have to pinch here and just make subdue people.
Oh, I was watching literally right before we were recording. It was one of your episode suggestions for, Vulcan stuff, and it was Meld, and how Tuvok was like, before you came in, I'd reached 93 different ways to just kill someone with just a finger.
Yeah.
I love
That's
it.
such a good episode. Julian, why don't you read the first appearance and creation story
Yeah,
that I
you
have
got
there?
it. So Spock first appeared on the original pilot, The Cage. Again, The Cage being the longest pilot to series pickup order ever in the history of television, because Gene Roddenberry wanted an alien as part of the ship's crew to establish that we were in the 23rd century and that interplanetary travel was an established fact. Roddenberry liked Nimoy's defined cheekbones and thought he would fit the role perfectly. So how did Nimoy come up with that awesome Vulcan salute? Well, the shape of the letter Shin from the Hebrew alphabet is based on the priestly blessing performed by Jewish Kohanim. The letter Shin here stands for El Shaddai, meaning Almighty God, as well as Shekiana, dwelling, and Shalom, peace. Nimoy said that as a child, he was impressed when he saw the blessing performed. Thank God I'm a Jew, and I think I pronounced all of that right. It's been a little bit since I took my
Blessed.
Hebrew courses. So
I'm glad because I was looking at that. I was like, oh man, he said that so much
ask
better.
the Jew to read the Jew stuff.
I never knew any of that, but it's so interesting, and I love that that he played such a part in creating these things because you kind of assume that it's all on the page, but so much of it they just sort of had. It was like, oh, do a Vulcan thing. They're like, okay, shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, and Nimoy was pretty
More like Shin.
yeah, Nimoy was pretty I mean, he was pretty if I remember in the documentary correctly, he was pretty active in the Jewish community, so
Yeah.
he took spirituality very seriously.
Yeah, his grandfather was Orthodox and very would take him
Yes.
every week, so it was very much ingrained in his.
He was Orthospock.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
No one knows.
No one-
So what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about some notable Vulcans that I put in here. There are some people, some that I left out, and I was like, maybe I should have put them in, but you know what? Since they are the first and most popular alien species seen on the series, we'll start with, no surprise. We're going to start with Enterprise. So number 5 on my list is T'Pol and Saval. I put these two together because it's sort of hard to think about Vulcans on Enterprise without thinking of both of these characters. T'Pol was portrayed by Jolene Blaylock, and she was the science officer on the NX-01, whereas Saval, who was played by Gary Graham, was
good.
he was so good.
Oh,
He was the ambassador to Earth. They each played an important role in building a trusting relationship between the humans and the Vulcans in a time when their relationship was really fraught. As sub-commander, T'Pol was originally stationed on the Enterprise as an observer to Archer and his crew, because the High Council believed that they weren't ready for space exploration. After the success of their first mission, T'Pol ended up requesting to stay aboard as their science officer. Fun fact, T'Pol was originally supposed to be a younger version of T'Pau, who we see in Amok Time, and due to legal issues, they renamed the character to T'Pol. Saval, on the other hand, was initially very hostile towards humans as the ambassador to Earth. He was one of those people who didn't really think they were ready to go off into space. But his work with Archer and the crew led to many changes on both Earth and Vulcan, and eventually led to the formation of the Federation. Thoughts on this character? I like them a lot.
I am nowhere near being a huge T'Pol fan. That has a lot to do with Jillian Blaylock, but that's besides the point. Just not a great character, overly sexualized because 90s to early 2000s.
All of Enterprise was
Rick Berman.
Ugh.
as
What do you
Lex
mean?
pointed out.
We're on a planet we need to get rubbed down right
let's
afterwards.
get decontaminated. Ugh,
guys,
God.
I just
Let me-
remembered my actual favorite Vulcan, and I'm gonna add them to my background right now. It's T'Pain. Everybody's like T'Pol, T'Pow, and I'm like T'Pain.
Excellent.
Is this the right button? I hope it is.
Get off my
Oh,
bridge.
I
Yes.
forgot. This is one of my favorite memes.
Oh my, it is a really good meme.
It's short
Yeah.
for Tylenol pain relief, by the way.
Is it really? Please
don't
tell me
think
no,
so.
it's not. Okay,
I don't
okay,
think
good.
so.
I'm old. I don't know.
You're old and you don't have a uterus.
Yo, I need like a neck grab right now because like I got that neck pain.
I'll call. I got Jillian Blaylock on speed dial. She can take care of you.
Whew.
No.
man,
So Gary Graham is probably my favorite thing about Enterprise. I thought that he did such a good job portraying the hostilities and the just the general not trustworthy attitude of the Vulcans towards Starfleet because it wasn't the Federation yet. You know, like Enterprise is the first ship really going out there, and the Vulcans kind of want to control that. And Gary Graham and Saval just until really like season 4, right, Eric? He's kind of just a douche, and he kind of starts to come around, and he just did such a good job with the role. And especially I just watched the excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it. Is it the Saranac or not the Saranac? The Saran the
the Sirenites.
Saran wrap?
yeah, the Saranites arc where he kind of really becomes an ally, and the Vulcans really start to become the true allies that they are to Starfleet and the Federation. So I really liked him. He's one of the bright spots about the show for me to pull.
He's a
Not
bright Spock.
Yeah.
I know you say that, but you secretly love it.
Yeah, unfortunately, she was very overtly sexualized. But what she did, her very little story that she got, that wasn't her dating someone, was all right. It was pretty good. I liked all the stuff with her and her husband and them partying and all that stuff. Once they started going away from her just being a sexualized person on the show, it was much better.
Yeah.
And I don't think Brittany, you haven't seen Enterprise yet, have you?
I have not,
Okay, that's fair.
which is why I'm smiling and nodding through all of this.
Just prepare yourself.
She's in a
And
lot
I
of
will watch
T-Pain when it
Enterprise
comes to
later.
Enterprise.
What about
I
you?
think,
Yeah.
Eric, you'll have to be the leader for that watch along.
That's fine. I like it. I will.
Well, that's
Okay.
Giraffe's going through it right now. She's doing it. Anytime it's
I mean, she's
happening
going
walk
through it.
along, she's really going through it.
Okay, so next up, I think we have Tuvok. And
Oh, real
you
quick,
guys-
sorry. On Twitch, before we move on to Tuvok, NYRL wrote, Enterprise's portrayal of the Vulcans as being arrogant has carried over into newer Trek. It makes the logic extremists in Discovery not so surprising. That's a great point, because when you watch that episode, you're like, oh yeah, they were kind of these big like douchebags in Enterprise. So yeah, good point.
Totally. All right, so Tuvok, you guys know I love my Voyager, so of course I'm going to talk about him.
That's why I put you there. I was like,
I appreciate it. We're all in our zone, you know? We all know what we like. And everything I said before is still true. I mean, Tuvok, we met him and he was part of the Maquis, which just seemed crazy. It's like a Vulcan in the Maquis. And it turns out that he was a spy from Voyager, and he joins the crew, and he even helps to integrate the crew, and it's, sort of part of him learning too. But the thing I really like about him that we haven't seen before is he's, we have Spock and he's the science officer and they're really buddy, but I feel like he's more of even though he's the second officer, he has a mentoring relationship with Janeway. They respect each other. They can speak to each other. And I think that he's a very stabilizing agent for the crew on Voyager, who's, far away from everything they know and love. And I think that he's a really interesting character. And the big episode that we were talking about for this one was Meld. And in that one, there's a person in the crew who was formerly Maquis who just murders someone, and turns out he's just got these, psychotic tendencies, and he does the meld, and then, he experiences emotions, and it's just cool to kind of see that, to see behind that character. But I don't know. I really like Tuvok. I think he's great. Another awesome episode, by the way, is Flashback, the one where we get Sulu back in, and we get to see him as a 28-year-old Vulcan, like a young Vulcan.
Babe.
And baby. And he disagrees with Sulu, and he actually leaves Starfleet for a while because of that, because that experience as a young Vulcan didn't make sense to him. People were doing things that were illogical. But then he comes back to Starfleet and, teaches at the academy, and he's like a big contributor to Starfleet. So
Tuvok was like the first full Vulcan we regularly had on Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Besides Sarek, but you're talking about like regularly, like
Regular.
episode to episode.
Yeah.
I Rob took the thought out of my head. I'm going to say it anyway. I love Tuvok because out of everyone on that crew, he has had just the most self-restraint, of not killing Neelix in all 7 years. Because in that episode of Meld, when he does kill him in the holodeck, I'm like, dude, you're all of us right now. Like,
dude, that was so intense.
get out of here with your root stew and shit, man.
I'm sad that it cropped the image so oddly.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
like it though. You're just all collarbone there.
It's-
NY Relight says Tuvok is a bit too free with the mind melds though, because Janeway is like, next time you got to ask me.
Yeah,
'cause
no
this
more
murder
mind
can't
melds.
happen. But
Mhm.
one thing that always sticks out to me about Tuvok is, Aaron, you kind of already talked about it, is obviously Chakotay becomes the first officer, right? Like that's so the crew can work together. But for all intents and purposes, he is Tuvok. I mean, he is Janeway's like true right hand. They're not only they're not only familiar with each other, they are good friends. And had the Maquis situation not happened, would have taken over as first officer, no question. And what I love about that is that how he is just a straight Vulcan. He has no emotion about it. It was the logical choice. And he ends up, besides having maybe like a few spats with him, ends up working with Chakotay really well. And even though I don't know if they ever truly form a friendship, they earn like a deep, deep respect for each other. And I really, really appreciated that dynamic all through Voyager.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I think that because of them being in the Delta Quadrant, and this ship was supposed to be, little 2-week jaunts here and there, I think that Tuvok grows a lot and becomes not more human, but sort of in the way I think with Spock, he has that emotional connection. And, Tuvok is like, I'm not emotional, but he's connected to those people and he cares
Mhm.
about them. And he gets put in these situations that he never would have been in otherwise. So, I mean, we see a lot of stuff happen with him. So
I love Tuvok. He's easily become one of my favorite like Star Trek characters overall, and definitely he's a top tier Vulcan.
yeah, and
He's
Tim
such
Russ
He's a
is
good dad.
totally. Tim Russ is apparently like the complete opposite and was like a massive jokester on the set. Like I guess the first thing he did, like in the first season, in Caretaker, the first episode, they're all being experimented on. And so they all had to like lay on a bed and they're, like naked from the waist down, the guys. And I guess they all came in and they were wearing robes. And he was like, this is before they all knew each other. He's like, please, no one, I have something with my body. I just gonna appreciate it if no one says anything. He was like really serious.
Mhm.
And then he like took off his robe like dramatically, and he had stuffed like 6 pairs of socks in his little pants, his little underpants. And I guess that was pretty fucking hysterical. And that set the tone for the entire series with him.
That's
So
wonderful.
he was the anti Vulcan.
Rob Digi says on Twitch, Tim Russ was actually brilliant in the role. He really aces the Vulcan thing of cold logic versus restrained emotion. Yeah,
Totally.
for sure.
I
And
liked it.
and NY Rawlite, did I say that
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. After weeks of saying it wrong, said the fact that Tim Russ is a big sci-fi and Trek fan really shines when he's playing Tuvok. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he's been in he's
Definitely.
been in Star Trek movies. Like he's a massive Trekkie, and he's been in a bunch of it. So
He was in one of the episodes that we watched. I don't think it was Best of Trek, but we just did a
Yeah, it
walk
was an
along.
earlier episode.
When Picard
He's,
basically
like,
becomes John McClane on the Enterprise, and he's
Yeah.
just, like a lowly, like, I don't know,
bad guy.
bad guy. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty-
he had no
he ended
shoes.
up getting killed. Yeah,
He was a
ended up-
Klingon at
Well-
one point.
was
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
he in-
yeah. On
He was in a
DS9.
Klingon.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wasn't he in either an earlier episode or in one of the movies, but like not as Tuvok? Like
He
didn't
was
have the
in
ears?
Generations. He
Yeah,
was the
Generations.
human, and then I guess they retcon that, so he was actually
Yeah.
on the Excelsior. And
Because I saw him and I was like, Tuvok, and then I was like, oh, what's up with his ears though?
Yeah. He's also
a
in Spaceballs,
human.
right?
That is true.
Yeah, I learned that. I was like, that's crazy.
All right, let's move on to the next character, T'Pau, who
Me. No.
wait, nope, you're next. You got number 2. T'Pau, who was featured on both the original, the old scientist and Enterprise. T'Pau was a highly
I
respected
understood that
philosopher.
reference.
Was a highly respected philosopher
Are
and
these
diplomat.
ranked? Are these in an order?
No, it was just
Oh.
me writing them
Okay, I
down.
was gonna say I have something to say about this. All right,
no,
you may
T'Pau-
continue.
no,
He's
no,
like,
no.
I'm gonna give you a T'Pau.
It was really me going, who should I put on here? And I should have put Sirach, or not Sirach, Sirach on here, but I didn't. She was a Cyrenite who was integral in revealing the true teachings of Sirach, which in turn helped revolutionize Vulcan society. She was known as the person to refuse to be on the Federation Council and dedicated her work for Vulcan as a diplomat. Her first on-screen appearance was as the officiate officiate, there you go, of
Words.
Spock's wedding in Amok Time. She was portrayed by Betty Matsushita in TOS and Kara Zediker on Enterprise. It was neat seeing her show up on Enterprise because having been she's such a integral character in Amok Time, and then she was sort of, well, not integral, she was very highly, I don't know, people always thought about her, and she kept on showing up as ship names and stuff throughout the universe, and to see a younger version of her and how integral she actually was to the Trek lore, I thought that was really neat. That's why I put her on here.
Yeah, and also music. It was so great. I mean, we're talking about heart and soul to Pow, right?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, as we watch more of TOS and our watch-alongs on Discord, I like a lot of the TOS stuff. That's sort of my little, blank zone. So I look forward to getting to know some of these characters more.
Oh, she doesn't show up again on TOS. That was the
Oh,
one
well.
time.
Never again.
Now, and Eric, I think I'm wrong here, but T'Pau isn't the one who put Spock's Katra back him on the hills of Mount Seleia, right?
I don't think
Search
so.
for Spock. That's a different Vulcan because
Yeah.
I feel like she's referenced once or twice. No, Rob just quickly told me
Yeah.
I'm wrong, as he likes to do.
Is T'Pau the one they referred to late? No, that was.
No, I don't think
Paul,
so.
right? Never
But
mind. We're good.
so I just know T'Pau from the episodes I just watched of Enterprise, which I've maybe seen once before this. So
I liked her in those. She was very sassy.
she was good.
She was spunky.
Very sassy. Yeah.
Sassy.
Let's move on to everyone's favorite Vulcan daddy, Brit.
Yes.
Brit is the
My
Vulcan daddy.
I was gonna say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So the father of Spock and Michael Burnham, and Sybok, I guess. I mean, look how many previously unknown siblings this guy can fit into him.
Ew.
Sarek was known as a great mediator who defied tradition by marrying a human. Ooh,
Multiple
scandalous.
times.
Yeah, yeah. In every timeline. As Vulcan ambassador to the United Federation of Planets, he pushed boundaries of Vulcan society. He was portrayed by Mark Leonard in TOS and TNG, and Ben Cross in the 2009 film, and James Frain in Disco, who was my first meme of the night, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
I know
I've gone
Ben
through
Cross
so many.
doesn't get as much love, but he was really good in the 2009 film. I liked him.
Agree.
He was good, but I feel like James Frame just came and just blew it
them
out
all,
of the
yeah.
park. Like, I almost feel like this is going to be sacrilege to say, but I think James Frame is on Mark Leonard's level. Maybe not better, but on level with just how good he is at playing the role. Like Ben Cross, okay, I could see that he's Sarek, but watching Disco and all the episodes he's in, I mean, that's Sarek. And to be fair, that's a little bit of a disservice to Ben Cross, right? Because we only see him in one movie.
Yep.
Whereas James Frayne, he's a recurring character on Discovery. So he gets to play Sarek a little bit more. And I'm praying, dear CBS, Paramount, whatever you call yourselves these days, more James Frayne is Sarek in Strange New World.
Agree.
Let's see
Agree.
what causes the rift between Spock and Sarek, because it happened sometime in this time period.
Yeah.
I love Sarek. I love Mark Leonard. My first experience seeing him was I didn't see him in the Balance of Terror episode. I don't think I was watching TOS at that point. Was in Search for Spock as Sarek. So just both are so good. I think you're right. Ben Cross doesn't get a lot of love because you only see him the first time. But Sarek is such a great character, especially when we later see him then get to interact with Jean-Luc on Next Generation, and it's a completely different take because he's dying and he's sick, and it's just a masterful performance.
Body is so wrecked.
Yeah. James
But I see your
Frayne.
point.
Oh, sorry.
I see your point.
Yeah.
His acting really raises brows.
I feel like James Frayne felt like Mark Leonard. Like he
Yes.
felt like the same character without doing an imitation of him, which is a really good way of, encompassing a character. I really got to stop making hand motions when I do
like
things.
Certain
every
figures
single
territory.
podcast.
Yeah. I love James Frayne. I thought he was wonderful. And yes, definitely Paramount, whatever you're called. Definitely hire him for
We're gonna
more.
climb that mountain, guys. We're gonna climb that mountain.
I think Disco Sarek is my favorite Sarek.
I think that's fair.
I like the
That's so good.
dynamic with Michael and then Spock as well. Just, I feel like the family is just really well done in Discovery, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense. And he's a major reason why it feels so compelling, especially with Michael's like storyline in the first 2 seasons, where you're just like, yeah, I believe this dynamic, I believe this relationship, and I don't know, I
Yeah.
like him a lot as an actor too.
Yeah.
Over on Twitch, Buick Space Wagon says representing mixed marriages was one of those epic moves that were made in TOS. This was years before Loving versus VA made the interracial marriages like my parents legal in the South. So yeah, a
Wow.
very big deal. Also, Rob wrote between TOS Journey to Babel and DSC Lathe, we already know what happened between Sarek and Spock. Not entirely. They're friendly, I think, still to a point. And then Lexi wrote, I genuinely love Sarek in the TNG episode where he's essentially suffering from dementia, heartbreaking and powerful. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the TNG moments that if I watch Unification when he passes, I still get a little weepy.
Yeah. And that moment of clarity when he's like, Picard. You're like, oh, so
Yeah.
good. Such good acting. God damn. All done
Moments,
on Sarek?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
just nothing but praise, really.
Yeah,
Sarek.
for real.
Yeah. Well, that's it
all these
for
characters.
that's it for notable Vulcans, right?
Yeah,
Oh no,
that's
Julian, you
it,
go with the
right?
last one.
There's this Spock guy. Have you guys read it?
Never.
No?
In my life.
No?
What a loser. Ugh.
Well, let me tell you about him. One of the most popular figures in science fiction and pop culture. I mean, I think everybody, whether you're a sci-fi fan or not, knows who Spock is. He was originally portrayed by Leonard Nimoy and first appeared as the science officer and first first officer aboard the Enterprise, half human and half Vulcan. He became one of the most distinguished and respected. Eric, you're rubbing off on
Are
me,
you okay?
man.
You okay, bud?
I Eric's rubbing off on me. Respected figures in the Federation. Not much is known about his time with Captain Pike, which Strange New Worlds, aboard the Enterprise, other than what was shown on Discovery and the Menagerie, which I just said, like the upcoming Strange New World
And
series.
climbing up the mountain. We got to see his cute little earmuffs.
We figure out that Spock actually has a really good golf clap.
Very good.
So, as a science officer and first officer to Captain James C. Kirk, he forms a close bond and with the aforementioned captain and Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, who always loves to be like, you green-blooded hobgoblin, you emotionless Vulcan, what's wrong with you? Although his relationship with Bones was impetus at times. Yes, very accurate. Spock's accomplishments and accolades are way too many to mention, as we all know. But perhaps I can't speak.
Words are hard.
Perhaps,
You need help?
so they are. Some of his most important work was that as ambassador, from watching Unifications 1, 2, and now 3. He did work towards that unification between the Romulans and Vulcans until his disappearance from a supernova that destroyed Romulus. Then we get the JJ verse, which we all know about, where he gets transported to that timeline. Vulcan goes kaboom, and he helps restore Vulcans on New Vulcan, like 10,000 Vulcans plus or something like that. So I'm going to add something to probably one of his greatest accomplishments, and that's the Khitomer Accords. Like that's a huge deal. He helped facilitate that, even though it got a little bit rocky along the way, right? Gorkin gets assassinated,
Got a little Spocky.
framed, got a little Spocky. He does that kind of shady Vulcan mind rape to Valaris, which is still maybe not one of the best scenes in the world. Too much mind rape in Star Trek.
Yeah.
But still a very big accomplishment as far as the Khitomer Accords and peace with the Klingons and the Federation. So then we get Spock, who is portrayed by Zachary Quinto, who does a very good job in the Kelvin timeline. But then I still will say that Discovery just keeps on doing things better, because you get Ethan Peck playing Spock now, who Spotted Giraffe just can't get enough of.
Put some respect
He's a
on
snack.
his name.
And for those who don't know yet, he is Gregory Peck's grandson. So
Yeah.
this long line of awesome
You thought
actors.
Zach Quinto was the
So-
quintessential Spock? You were wrong.
What I kind of, by reading all that, just kind of told you guys how Spock feels to me. How about you guys? What's who is Spock to you?
What else can you say, right?
That was
It's
something
Spock.
really bad. I'm glad I didn't say it.
He's
We're good.
man. Both Leonard Nimoy and Spock were so quintessential to my youth that it was just it's hard to think what it would be like without them. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to describe.
they made such an impact on the universe. Like especially Leonard Nimoy, creating a character and creating a race of people, and these mannerisms that you're Julian, you're little kids that can do this. Like that's the long lasting effects. Yeah, and even though Spock wasn't my first Vulcan, but I knew him, and I knew him immediately. And then with the movies, the J.J. Abrams movies, that became, sort of, even I think everybody knew then. It's sort of like the first time you see a Star Wars movie. There's certain things that jump out. Like people don't know Star Wars still know who Yoda is or Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And people don't know who what Star Trek is, but they've heard of Spock. They've heard of Kirk. They've heard of Spock. There are a couple things you just know. So, yeah.
I have to share with you guys level 2 of Trek daddom. We've reached level 2. I was listening to one of our episodes in the car, and our intro music came on, and I hear Cecily in the back going, dun 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 dun, dun, and I was like, I gotta.
Like, I'm fine. I'm just wiping my tears with my Spock.
You're growing up so fast.
I was gonna agree with Aaron definitely on, like, even if somebody has never seen Star Trek, they know Spock. Like, of all other characters, even some people might not even know who Kirk is, or Uhura, or the rest of the original crew, or anybody from any timeline. But you'll say Spock, and they're like, "Oh, Star Trek," or the guy who does this, the guy with the pointy ears, Leonard Nimoy. Like, people know all around the world who Spock is. So I think you can't have Star Trek without Spock. Once you go Spock, you can never go Buck.
And it's crazy.
Things.
It's crazy to think because he's so ingrained in our pop culture that when he died, when Leonard Nimoy died in 2015, the Canadian government ended up having to put out a statement saying, "Stop Spocking our $5 bills."
Yep.
Like everyone was doing it. I remember getting them and being like, "This is amazing."
Yeah. You just like stamp it at some point.
Yeah.
Make him into Spock.
Just quickly on Twitch, Buick Space Wagon says Spock is the only character I identified with on TV as a kid. I loved him so much I thought he was Asian and would fight anyone who tried to tell me different. I love that. That's awesome. Rob wrote at a 31-year service between Pike and Kirk, I believe nobody else comes close to Spock's time spent serving aboard the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try and fact check you on that one. I think you got it right.
That sounds right.
Lexi wrote, queer rights and Spurk aside for just a moment, Spock was one of the first depictions of an outsider as part of the ensemble on TV, a mixed race, neural atypical piece of brilliance, unlike any other than, and still a high point today.
Nice. I love him. Yeah, great comments from Twitch.
Spurk rights.
So next we're going to move on to some notable Star Trek episodes. There are lots that are Vulcan-centric, so I only chose a couple. And obviously, because I'm going to start, we're going to go to Voyager. No, we're going to Enterprise.
Yay! Aw.
Son of a bitch.
So this is from season 4, episode 7 to 9. It's the Cyranites arc.
7 of 9?
Seven.
It is episode 7.
I was just
So those 3 episodes are The Forge, Awakening, and Kirshara. So what happens in these episodes? After the bombing of the Earth Embassy on Vulcan, the crew of the Enterprise begins this investigation into a group of Vulcans called the Cyranites. Through the episode arc, we find out that the Cyranites are actually devout followers of Surak, and that the administrator of the High Council had planned an attack to begin a war with the Andorians. And, everything unfolds, and we're like, oh damn. We get the true.
Oh, damn, Starbase 80.
Oh damn! They get the true teachings of Surak that the Cyranites find, and everything is uncovered, and the Andorians and humans end up having a closer relationship, which is actually really cool. What I loved about this arc is that it showed that not all Vulcans were sort of like these high-minded, like an Enterprise all throughout it. They weren't these epic people we put on pedestals because they're like high logic and everything makes sense. They were sort of douchebags, I want to say. Yeah,
There's douchebags in every group.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, douchebags and a huge sense of entitlement that they were like the chosen species of the galaxy, if that makes sense.
No, 100% makes sense. And the fact that this led to where we see Vulcans become once we get to Spock's time, I thought was really cool. I thought it was really important to the mythos of Star Trek, just having the Vulcans be a little more dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty Vulcans.
I liked about this episode that it really showed Vulcans showing emotion. Not only Vulcans, but Vulcans in a high place of power, like the like what was he, the president or the
He was the administrator of the High Council.
administrator of the High Command. Like he wasn't fucking around. Now, listen, I'm Eric. I don't know if you were going to bring this up or not, but we kind of know why that is, right? Because at this point in time, the Romulans are trying their own version of unification, but I think they're doing it for, they have an ulterior motive. They don't, they don't want it for the same reason Spock wants it. But, and Eric, tell me if I'm wrong. Is the administrator actually a Romulan? Was he a plant?
I don't think he was a Romulan. I think he was a Vulcan, but
yeah, he was going along with the Romulans' version of reunification. Yeah, I love that whole arc and how they were kind of just horrible. I shouldn't say human beings because they're not, but horrible Vulcan
beings.
Beings.
It was also the episode where we found out that because of they didn't have the full teachings of Serac, they couldn't do mind melds. Which is sort of a staple for all Vulcans afterwards, and it was only certain people, and it was sort of seen as dirty, and that wasn't actually true, which is cool.
It can be dirty.
Yeah.
Well, there needs to be consent.
Yes,
consent.
Yes.
And maybe don't meld with murderous people.
Yes,
My cat
bad
wants to
idea.
come in.
Bring in the cat.
Any other thoughts on this episode, Brittany, Aaron?
I
episodes?
don't
Haven't
remember
seen
it. It's been a long time. It's been a long road.
Oh,
We'll have to put it into our watch-alongs. If you think it's worth watching,
Oh,
I
for
will
sure.
watch it. As
Yeah.
long as is there any naked rubdowns?
No, they stopped that in like season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Season 3 is actually where they get their real footing, and then once they get rid of the Time War stuff, season 4 is where it shines.
Eric, maybe you can answer Rob's question. Does anybody know whether this arc was loosely planned from early on, or was it a course correction after so many people bitched about how the Vulcans were portrayed on the show up until then?
I'm not sure. I feel like they had planned a lot of things because they had a 7-year arc that they wanted to do. So I feel like this was headed towards that. But I don't think that they did it just because of how people were bitching about the Vulcans.
I think that this was the right move to how to portray them. Like I said earlier, I think that people I think sometimes forget that this series was like 150 years before the original series. So that's still 150 years that the Vulcans have to evolve to too. Like they're still not, I think T'Pau says at the end of this episode, like, you might be witnessing a new age of Vulcans starting right now, and that's what we eventually get. So I liked it a
I thought
lot.
we were in the age of Aquarius, man. We're in the age of
Aquarius.
Mercury's in retrograde. What about Navarre? Is that in Gatorade? I don't know.
Gatorade.
I like saying stuff like that sometimes. I'm like, well, I don't know. Mercury's in Gatorade. My life's just not happening right now.
When the moon. So let's move on to TNG. Julian.
Yeah, so unification parts 1 and 2, which I feel like is all we talk about on this podcast lately for a good reason. So for those of you living under a rock, it's a 2-part episode run that featured the return of Leonard Nimoy as Spock and Mark Leonard as Sarek. This run begins with the Federation believing that Spock may have actually defected over to the Romulan people, which kind of like really after all these years, like really, come on. But anyway, the Federation enlists Jean-Luc and the Enterprise to travel to Vulcan to speak with Sarek, who, as we know, is the former ambassador to Earth and father of Spock, and he's dying from Bendai syndrome, which is basically the Vulcans' version of dementia, and it sucks. And holy crap, the emotions in this episode with him and Jean-Luc, who, oh man, maybe an unpopular opinion, but Jean-Luc and Sarek have the better acting relationship than Shatner and Leonard ever did. Like I got so much more from Patrick Stewart and Mark Leonard's interactions on their 3 episodes or 2
Patrick
episodes.
Stewart's a better actor. Come on.
For sure.
Bum, bum, bum. He raises the game of everybody around him.
Yes.
Right.
He raises the tabar. Is that a book
Oh!
name? Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe. It could
Anyway,
be
well, in a
Safar.
rare moment of lucidity, Sarek discloses that Spock has long hoped for the peaceful reuniting of the Vulcan and the Romulan peoples. And then Sarek dies very shortly after Jean-Luc leaves to go find Spock on Romulus. So as I said, he leaves. He Picard, in a very baller move, contacts Gowron and is like, "I need a ship, and that ship needs the cloak, and you owe me one, dude." And
Gowron.
Gowron at first is like, "I don't know you. You didn't do anything to help me." And Picard pretty much blackmails him. He's like, "I did this, this, and this. And if you tell anybody differently, there's going to be some bad things that happen to you." And finally, they're like, "All right, you can have a bird of prey. Go to Romulus. Get out of here." So upon finding Spock on Romulus, Picard learns that he's begun an unauthorized, not from the Vulcans, not from the Federation, mission towards the reunification of the Vulcan and Romulans with the help of a Romulan senator named Pardek and the Romulan pro-council named Neril, who, how anyone could ever think that he wasn't a bad guy, just the way he does the Vulcan salute just screamed douchebag. So yeah.
He did it one finger off.
What? Yeah. Is this how it goes? Live long and prosper. I'm new at this. I'm like, you're a fucking bad guy. Come on.
It's like in Inglourious Bastards when he goes to count and he's like, eins, zwei, drei,
Yeah.
and you're like, buddy, we all know it's this.
So Picard, Data, and Spock are soon captured by Commander Sela, who is planning a Romulan conquest of Vulcan, which is kind of the reason they've known Spock's been there, right? They've kind of allowed this to go on to pretty much, trick the Vulcans. But they escape after Data hacks into the Romulan computer system to create a holographic simulation to distract Sela. Back on Romulus, Data and Picard bid farewell to Spock. Live long and prosper. The ambassador is intent upon his goal, so he stays on Romulus, realizing that it cannot be achieved through diplomacy or politics. Picard offers Spock a chance to touch with Sarek, because Jean-Luc does have to inform him that his father died, and their relationship had not ever been mended. So he mind melds with Picard in this very emotional moment. So these are probably two of the best episodes
Really
of Star
good.
Trek ever.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else to say on it. Just brilliant episodes.
Yeah, both Sarek and Spock are portrayed wonderfully in these episodes, and just so good.
And I feel like we have to talk about Unification 3 with this, right? Because
they're all connected to Vulcan.
It does end up happening. Like his dream does get realized, and you get to see the payoff with Michael realizing that her brother was this really important dude, and that means so much too. So
yeah,
And
the only
it's
reason
done
I didn't
so
put
beautifully.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't put it there is because we had just talked about Unification 3, and I was like, but yeah, it was. Oh man, that third episode, phenomenal. Shall we move on to Amok time, Brittany?
I think it's about time for Amok time. We're gonna run amok. Get ready, guys. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed this episode. It's one of the few TOS episodes I actually was like, I'd watch this again. So for those that don't know, or maybe you do know and want a refresher, Amok Time is the episode where we see Spock suffering from Ponfar, which is
Ponfar.
And he was Ponfar from home. He had to go back. So it's the Vulcan biological mating urge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he wanted to Spock someone's world. Okay, so Spock must return to Vulcan to marry his betrothed T'Pring. She was like, "T'Pring your ass home."
Shut up, Weasley.
Or he would die. Which I know a lot of men say they're like, "We just got to do it right." I might die, but in this case, it was true. So meanwhile, on Vulcan, I can't believe I'm saying this much. Oh my god, he just scrolled all the way back up. T'Pau prepares to conduct the ceremony. However, T'Pring demands Caliphie, which is a physical challenge between Spock and her champion, dun dun dun, Kirk. That made things awkward.
Ripped shirt and all.
Yep, I love when he turns. He's just like, what? Kirk and Spock fight to the death, and Spock renounces his claim on T'Pring.
You gotta fight to the death sometimes.
Okay. They all return to Enterprise, where, surprise, Kirk is actually alive.
And we get a smiling Spock in that moment.
He goes full human for a hot second.
He
Love
does, for literally, because he was having a hot second.
NYRL, it's really funny. He goes, such a great family bond that Spock didn't invite his parents to the ceremony.
Yeah, just his BFF that he totally has no feelings for,
Yeah.
in the least.
Man, these alien races have a lot of like interesting rituals. So the Vulcans have to, have sex or they'll die. The Betazoids get married naked. Like everybody's got a thing.
Lexi goes, he got rugged and sweaty with Kirk and suddenly he didn't need a wife anymore.
Oh
I mean-
dang! The slash fiction writes itself.
It's how you find it out, guys. That's how you figure it out.
Yeah.
My
Did that
D&D
myself.
character made out with a ghost lady last night, and she was like, okay.
That ghost lady made out with
Ghost lady.
everyone.
She did,
Everyone.
but I was the first.
That's fair.
What kind of ghost are we talking about? Like a Slimer type
I
ghost,
don't
or
know.
like
We're not sure yet.
Wait, are we
Sure.
talking about the Scottish ghost?
the ghost
Beverly
was Scottish?
Ghost?
No. We're talking about our D&D game from last night.
Oh.
It was a lady in
I
red.
don't know, but she depringed it on too. So
Lady in red. Yeah.
I
Any
like
other-
that episode a lot.
I like that
though.
episode
It's
too.
so ridiculous.
And the
So many
music-
gongs.
They
Yep.
fight with the
Gong.
Oh,
what
the
are they called?
gongs.
Oh, what are those called? We talked
Yeah, it's
about
like
those
It
weapons.
starts with an L.
L-
What
What
are we
is-
talking about?
Twitch? Come
Twitch-
on.
Not like
What
a
is
Libra.
the-
It's like a Lapra something. I don't remember.
What is the Vulcan weapon name with the big
Oh,
ball and
I'm
the
gonna Google it.
curved blade? Anyway,
Yeah. Anywho,
We'll find out.
good episode. I thought it was phenomenal. It was
if
nice.
you want to hear more about it, we did it with we talked about it near the beginning of when we started the podcast. With,
Yeah.
I believe our essential Spock episode.
I
Spock.
Googled
Spock.
Vulcan weapon, and there's a lot of guns that are named Vulcan. In
Yeah.
real life,
Okay.
the
That's weird.
M61 Vulcan is a hydraulically, electrically, and pneumatically driven 6-barrel air-cooled electric whatever.
Anyway.
Anyway, that's all you need to know about America.
Yeah.
You
Let's,
Yeah, there you
Vulcan
go.
weapon, you don't get sci-fi.
Good lord. Anyway, let's move on to the episode that Aaron mentioned earlier.
Voyager!
It's a Lurpa.
Lurpa.
Voyager!
Not a Lorca, a
A
Lurpa.
Lurpa?
Yes,
Interesting.
you're okay, Aaron. You can go now.
Yes.
Voyager! Okay, so I was talking about it a little bit earlier, but the one of the episodes is Meld, and it's in the second season, and the plot line is pretty much that this crew member, Suitor, who was part of the Maquis, and he's Betazoid, but he's unlike everybody else, he can't feel anything. He's devoid of emotion, which, reminds you of a couple serial killers, I'm sure.
He's devoid of emotion.
There you go. And so he murders someone, and through the investigation, Tuvok finds the evidence and confronts him, and this guy's like, yeah, whatever, I did it. He looked at me wrong. I didn't like the way he looked at me. And so Tuvok decides that he wants to meld with him because it's not logical to him that this would be a reason. He wants to understand, and he doesn't see the danger in that. Him being a highly, logical person, this guy devoid of emotion, but like in real life, these people who are devoid of emotion can only feel one emotion, and that's rage, which is a real scary emotion because it's extremely, potent and strong. So long story short, he melts with him, and Suitor actually becomes more calmed. He gains that from Tuvok, but Tuvok, all of his emotions go crazy, and he takes on some of the aspects of Suitor because that's what he's trying to do and understand. And that's where we get to where Julian said earlier, where Tuvok went to the holodeck and straight up murdered Neelix in the holodeck, which is real messed
Wonderful.
up.
Didn't do anything none of us wouldn't have.
You guys, he's not that bad.
No, he's
Damn.
He was really annoying in that moment, though.
You
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Even more
But
so.
I mean, he was kind of programmed to be, But the episode ends with him, there's a treatment and they're able to suppress the emotions. But I think this was the first time they'd given, Tim Russ the opportunity to really play with emotion, be really out there and over the top. And Julian, you mentioned he was like, I've thought about all the 90 ways I can murder you with a finger. And
Yeah.
and he was like in his room and it was all dark, and he lost everything that made him who he was. And it really showed us what, why that is so important that the Vulcans hold that in. It helps them to stay together, because he just, for someone who really has it together, he kind of went off the deep end there.
It was
And
wonderful.
there's actually a second episode that follows on with this, with that same character who has, Tuvok, even though they've confined this guy to quarters for the rest of the maybe 70-year trip, which is pretty horrific, but what else are you going to do? He's been meeting with him and spending time with him, helping him to, meditate and trying to help this, psychotic person find rehabilitation despite that he had this terrible experience he had. And I think it really shows that Tuvok, he's I, he sees the value in these connections he's making, even something like that. He learns from his experiences and he wants to go deeper. And I think that's a part of his character that I really, really like.
I think Tuvok got to a point where he was sort of like what Deanna Troi ended up becoming, like a counsel to the captain, and and a counsel to the crew members. Like this, he was such a good character on that show. And the most unrealistic thing of this episode was anyone believing that Brad Dourif wasn't a killer or something.
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, he's obviously the killer. It's Brad Dourif.
Yeah.
It's Wormtongue.
Is he Steven Dorff's brother by chance? No, different dwarfs.
I don't know. He's the voice of Chucky, though, so. Like,
oh, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm debating whether I want to read NY Light's comment or not because Tuvix, but I'll read it anyway. Tuvix would have saved them all from Neelix's cooking. I mean, I guess that's a good point, but I've never been pro Tuvix.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? That's a complicated episode. I don't know that we'd have to talk about that in its own episode.
I don't ever want to talk about it in its own episode. I've said my thoughts. I'll never have a discussion.
It's a dark episode, but no, I
majors.
love Tuvok.
Yeah, and Tim Russ is so good in this episode, right? Like getting to like show those emotions and be a little murderous for a few minutes, like that whole scene.
He cared so much, like we said earlier. He was a Trekkie. He cared so much about getting it right and being a Vulcan. You know what I mean? I think there are some people who, took the roles more or less seriously, but he took it, even though he was the prankster on the set or the jokester, he took it really seriously, and I think it shows through his performance through the entire series. Like he's that stabilizing character.
Also, Brad Dourif is different than Steven Dorff. Different spellings of last names.
Too many dwarfs.
Too many. So that's the end of our episodes. Do we have, now that we're done all of this, talk about Vulcans, do we have any final thoughts on the species itself? Like they seem to be the quintessential alien. When I think of an alien in sci-fi, I think of Vulcans. They seem to be the ones that come up first in my brain.
I think when it comes to Star Trek, you need a healthy sprinkling of Vulcans in there. Like, even if they're not a main character on the series, like, they need to appear at some point. So, I mean, luckily we still get Vulcan things through, like the fact that Michael grew up being human and was raised by Vulcans, and then you got to see her interact with Spock and her family. And even though Disco has gone a different direction now, at least in the future, oh, hey, these groups are now living together on this planet. Like, there's still a future for that whole race. So I think that's so cool that Star Trek will continue to come back to Vulcans in some way, or reference them, or show that like Spock's legacy lives on like way past when he's dead. It's so awesome. So I mean, I think you can't have Star Trek without Vulcans. Like I said, Spock's the most famous Star Trek character ever, and immediately when you say Star Trek to people, they're like, oh yeah. Like, even if they don't know Star Trek, they're just like, yeah, Spock hand.
What I will say, this is the one big compliment that I'll always give Enterprise, is that Enterprise did the most for giving Vulcans really good backstory and just good stories in general. And what I like even more is that Discovery, even though I haven't had as many episodes as Enterprise had focusing on the Vulcan, they've expanded upon them as well. So I really appreciate that. Do I think that they're like the quintessential? Maybe they have to be because of Spock, but when I think of Star Trek aliens, I just immediately always go to Klingons because I love the Klingons.
That's fair.
But I think it's probably different for everybody.
You never forget your first contact, though.
And you never forget your first bat'leth. So
that's right.
It's true.
I mean, I think we've gotten a lot from them. Like, you guys said it all, and I love. I don't think we really talked about it, but in Lower Decks, there's not a lot of Vulcans. We see a couple of them on the ship, but we get a lot of. What?
One smiley Vulcan.
One smiley Vulcan.
Yeah, the guy with the red shirt.
And I like though that we get such fun things between the characters, and we get live long and prosper this thing. Like that's so fun, and I know we do that to each other, and I think we're not the only ones. So I don't know. I think that that mark on culture has been permanently stamped in there. So good job, Vulcans.
Yeah. Let's move on to the subspace poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
Ooh, I thought I would get you.
Nope.
Me?
On the ball, on the ball.
I'm on the ball tonight, baby.
All right, Julian, why don't you jump into the subspace
fray.
poll?
So ahead of this episode, we had to take a week, and now we're finally here. But so we did this poll a couple of weeks ago now. We asked a very simple question: who is your favorite Vulcan? Not listed. Replied. Not a lot of people replied on Twitter. We got that on Instagram. Don't worry. For any of you who think that this wasn't a blowout, you're wrong. The poll got 5%. Sarek got 10%. Tuvok got 18%.
Nice.
And yeah, I forgot to put Spock on there.
Damn
No,
it.
kidding. Spock got 67% of the vote.
I thought
So-
Cybok would have
All
won.
waited on the poll.
Who's Cybok? Who's the Cybok that you speak of?
Guys, why didn't you name it the subspace to poll?
Ah, shit.
Damn it.
Oh, damn.
Wasted.
I can't go back
You're
on it.
lucky I was unavailable last week.
Brittany, do you want to read the first of the Instagram?
I shall,
Mailbag?
of course. So, from Instagram, classic TV shows and films wrote Tuvok and Spock.
Yeah.
No more words needed to be added because we all know where it's at. Tuvok and Spock.
I'll read the next one, which Vival Bertoni wrote. I love these four, but Spock will always be the ultimate Vulcan for me. Aaron, you want to read the next one?
Can I read the one after that? Because I'm still pulling it up.
Sure. I'll read the next
Oh.
one. Judith wrote, Tuvok! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Okay, I'll read the next one. Oh shit.
Ralph,
Ralph Ray 68 wrote Spock, of course, and to Paul second.
Julian?
Wild Trojan.
No. Give it to Brittany. I don't have the
Okay,
list.
Brittany, go.
Okay, Wild Trojan. Actually, I hope that's right. Wrote Ethan Peck's Spock is my favorite Vulcan. My second favorite is Sarek because they both loved Michael Burnham. Mood. Which is an uncommon emotion amongst Vulcans.
Aaron, why don't you take that last one?
All right. Minor Tim wrote to Paul hit all the right notes. Well played.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
What about all those Vulcans who hit all the baseballs? Right out of the park.
No, they hit the to ball.
To ball.
He's to Paul, okay?
Rob apparently completely missed this poll and
The
goes,
rest of them run to home. Some of them like to pitch.
And are there any Twitch comments there that we need to get
no,
to?
Twitch got quiet. Twitch got a little quiet.
Well, we
What
got
about-
really
you were
deep.
saying Rob?
I
What
think
did
I'm in
Rob say?
shock.
Oh, just that he missed the poll.
Oh, well, Rob, what are you doing with your life?
To pull.
He was busy
Eating
now.
frozen pizzas.
Ooh.
Oh.
I love
Box.
frozen pizza.
And working out and doing our Discord Captain
challenge,
Squat
baby.
challenge, which today was day 42 of squats, you guys. We've
Yep.
been doing squats every damn day of this year.
I got
42.
I got
The
lost. I
mystery of the
thought
universe.
we were at 44. Oops.
Well, you're in the right range. I'll post more about it on the Discord. We're doing now. Just put a random GIF of the day if you did it.
Yeah, I won't. Anyway, I'm
I'm
gonna give a little a
You
fun
do
tid.
you.
I'm gonna give a little fun tidbit that I found out on Monday because I did an episode about Christopher Plummer, who we know was in Star Trek 6, and he recently
Oh,
passed
T'Pol.
away. But in the movie, there's this wonderful scene where he cries out and spins his chair and says, "Cry havoc and let loose the dogs of war." And that wasn't originally in the script. Did you guys know that?
I did.
Oh.
So apparently, the reason why he put that in is the director wanted him to add more Shakespeare into the thing, and he wanted this as a little Easter egg for his understudy from Shakespeare, who was in Henry V with him, who was William Shatner.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we should have called him Christopher Plugger because he plugged that in.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well,
He was cool.
I want to thank you all for coming out on Twitch, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting service to come and listen to us talk about Vulcans, one of our favorite species. And thank you, Brittany, Julian, and Aaron for chatting about them. From all of us here at Strange New Pod, we wish all of our collective friends and listeners around the world all the safety and happiness possible. If you want to come out and hang or chat with us about Star Trek and with the best Star Trek fans, come and join us on our Discord. The link is down below in all the comments.
Yeah.
Or all of the descriptions that we have online.
Real quick, right after this episode ends, about 5-10 minutes after, we have been doing, after every single episode, our best of Trek watch-alongs. And tonight we're going to do a double header. We're going to watch Discovery's Lathe, and then after that, because it's the anniversary of the episode, we are going to watch DS9's Far Beyond the Stars. So get ready to cry. Cry twice.
This is my new background. I want to screenshot this and put it as my computer background.
Yeah.
There you go.
Me and Spock
We will.
living our best lives.
So once again,
Back
thank
to
you
rave.
all for coming and talking to us about Vulcans. Thank you out there on the internet for listening to us. Majram, and as always, peace and long life. Good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.
Bum, bum, bum. We're back.
Encore.
Bonus content.
Oh, I love bonus content. Should I be recording this? No, because it's video and it's probably
It's
better
video.
for video.
That's fine. I wonder if anyone oops, it's
Oh,
not
there's
an
people
oops.
here.
What's in
Oh,
the
yeah.
box?
We're doing this on
Our
purpose.
friends
When you,
never
this
leave.
is
there's
like the
no
end
oops.
credits scene. You know, all the credits go, and then like boom, we're there eating shawarma.
It's a stinger.
I
Yeah,
would-
this is like Secret Avengers level ending.
I was like, where's
Like,
my
because they
scissors?
heard my cry for Remans in return. No, that wasn't the reason we're back, because they're not. But we love you anyway.
Yeah, so I was like, where are my scissors? Apparently naked Elsa was holding them.
Oh my
My-
god.
The
my-
life of adults.
Well, life
Yeah,
of
that's how you
adults,
know you
yeah.
have kids.
Yep.
Exactly. So let's open up this first package I got from the States.
That's nothing exciting, but you could open up that
I'm
one.
gonna open
I
it
love
because
that
I'm
he calls
excited.
us the
I
States.
know.
Yep.
It's not like you haven't been waiting for that one forever.
Oh god.
Dude, I sent you something like more than a month ago. It's still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I sent you guys a package. You,
I was gonna
Julian,
say, I don't think
and
I ever-
and apparently it came back. I put the wrong thing on there, so
Oh,
I have to
no.
resend it,
That
which is
makes
nice. Oh look, I got Ziploc bags. These are wonderful.
Ziploc.
Ooh,
Yeah.
American Ziplocs.
America. Because we
America.
eat so much food.
There's
we
no
need to
French
literally
on this.
seal
I
it.
don't understand what it says.
Yeah, they're actually from
Fancy
China.
milk.
Oh, but I got Strange New Pod pins.
Ooh.
Merch.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are for you and
Merch,
Hawk.
merch.
Nope, Hawk's not gonna get any. And some stickers.
And magnet.
Woo. And Meg, is it for Meg as well?
No,
Magnet.
Oh, oh,
Magnets for
But
Mag.
Mag was the one who suggested we do magnets.
So you're saying don't put that on my hard drive that I put it on.
No, that would no.
And then I got this big package here.
Ooh.
All right, so for those that don't know, I shipped this all the way at the beginning of January to Eric. This is his Christmas present.
Don't worry,
And-
mine got shipped back.
Yeah, and at this point, really, it's his Valentine's Day present because Eric is my Valentine.
Damn straight.
Aw,
Damn
so
straight
nice.
it is.
Oh,
Ugh. Why am
Look
I
at
so...
those big fucking scissors.
These are my kitchen shears. I use these to cut chicken and any meats.
And then you clean them afterwards before you cut
No.
open boxes.
I like how he subtly threw an any meats in there.
wait,
Yeah.
does this mean it's sheer hubris?
Sheer fucking hubris.
Sheer fucking hubris.
You have like a folder in your brain that does magic, Brittany. It's amazing. It's fucking
Oh,
Oh
awesome.
goodness.
Too much. Just
All right, here we go.
All right,
Here
ready?
we go.
The first thing is
Da, 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 da.
dun, dun,
bubble
dun.
wrap.
Yay!
Yay!
I love bubble
All the
wrap.
way from America.
Ooh.
Some Delta Quadrant stuff.
Yeah, you son of a.
Oh, yeah.
It's
where that's
Cybok. I'm glad that we did this on the Vulcan episode.
I know. That's why I really wanted you to open it this time.
Oh my god,
we
that's
should have
going
said
right
what's in
behind
the
me.
side box.
Is this an action figure or is it a statue?
The statue. I
anything
think.
you
It's
want it to
anything you
be.
want it to be.
I
You
will
can
play
burn
with-
it for all I care. It's
Nope.
fucking Cybok.
It's gonna be right there where that mushroom is. It will
that-
forever live there.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, you're gonna
Amazing.
stay
It's the one
on
and
my
only
desk.
time someone will be excited about Cybok.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is the real one though.
Oh damn. It's Khan. Oh my god,
Ooh,
I
who
don't.
dat?
Oh, look at that art on the side of the box.
Look at the
Can you
Fucking
believe it?
pecs. Look at those
Damn.
sexy
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban pecs.
Oh,
Some
Give
people
it
like
some eyes.
Ethan Peck.
Has,
some people
Reliant
like
on the
Montalban
front?
Peck.
Yeah.
oh, I want to open this, but I don't want to open it. Oh no.
Open it.
If it was
Open
me,
it.
I wouldn't open it. So
I
don't
open
feel
everything.
don't feel obliged to, because I wouldn't.
Yeah, like, I would. Ugh. Like, look at the chair. The
I
chair
wouldn't.
probably swivels.
Yeah.
I know.
Wait, where is it? Wait.
I'm one of those people that would open it, but that's just me personally.
There are toys I open to buy, and there are toys that I open not
You
to.
buy to
or
You
open,
mean
I
like
buy-
those?
and then you buy.
Yes, like
I
if
open
we're still-
everything.
If we're still live though, I will take off my background and finally show people who may not have seen it yet the fact that I finally got my white whale. So bear with me 1 second.
Ooh, we're doing.
What?
This is our after show unboxing.
Wait,
I think
show
Julian got a
people something
haircut.
Cool I got.
Look at Julian's legs. Look at them
I'll
legs.
show people my early birthday presents I got from
Ooh.
people.
Yeah. This is the Diamond Select Art Asylum
That
Enterprise.
looks nice.
Does it
and
light up?
Gorgeous.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit.
He's like,
Careful shit.
That's amazing.
Some people are selling this thing for like $300 to $400. And I got it. I won't tell people how much I spent. I still spent a lot for it, but I didn't spend that much for it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to buy nice things for
He's like,
yourself.
scalpers be damned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, we just bought dark sabers, right?
Oh, they
That's
said
enough.
they couldn't see it, so I'll
I'll
try
show
and
people
put it.
what I
I'll
got.
try and put it in here again.
More in front of you. In front of you. There
There.
you go.
There
If you
go.
take off your background, it'll be easier for
Yeah,
them
you're
to
listening
see.
to
I did
green screen.
before. I did before, and then there it is.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah. Light that shit up.
Phasers and quantum torpedoes.
Oh.
Ooh.
Fire all weapons.
Whose voice is that?
Patrick Stewart.
Is it? Okay. You can't
Amazing.
tell over Zoom.
Well, if we're doing show and tell, shit, I'm gonna get my thing.
I guess we're doing quick encore show and tell before Best of Trek.
I should have brought out the
Look at my new.
mug. Yeah,
yeah.
that looks great.
It is real snazzy. It's from the great people at Shops at Riza. I'll definitely talk about this at some point, but they kicked it out of the park with this, and it's like super nice quality, guys, like really well sewn on the inside. I don't know if it's gonna go on well with me wearing a long sleeve. Let's see how this goes.
Aaron, Rob wants to know if he's going to have to make you 900 rank pips again for that.
Fuck yes.
Back again.
Yeah.
Brittany's
Oh.
got her show and tell.
I
got
had 2 early birthday
Anyway,
presents.
Merry Christmas, Eric. Finally.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Other things.
Little Nightmares.
Yeah, Pat
Ooh.
from the Everything is Permitted
Aw.
podcast, one of our co-hosts, he got me Little Nightmares 2, which is great because he told me, he was like, you got to stream Little Nightmares 1 again for people. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And he's like, because it's coming out. And I was like, okay. And he's like, near your birthday. And I was like, I get what you're saying. So, he was like, well, I mean, it's for the best because I totally would have bought it. So I'm glad he like hinted it so hard. And then this massive fucking Skeletor Funko.
You finally
Oh my
gave in and
God,
got
that's
it, didn't
awesome.
you?
That's so awesome.
I did not buy this. Someone got this for me.
That's all.
It was Joe from work, and the thing is, he just left it on my like table. So at first I was like, "Oh, is this a trade-in?" And they were like, "No, Joe left this for you." And I was like, "What?" Because I'm not like a Funko collector or anything, but like I have the tiny version of this, which is super rare,
Mhm.
that he found for me also. And then he was just like, "Yeah, now you have the massive one too, so you can just build your Skeletor shrine."
Yes.
I want to
Love
see
it.
a shrine to Skeletor. I need to see that.
Yeah.
I'm still organizing my room from my recent rearrangement, but I will have a shrine soon.
Did I tell you that my daughter plays with my Skeletor figure from when I was a kid?
Skeletor's amazing.
Yeah. Like she has He-Man
That's so
and
good.
Skeletor, and she's like, no He-Man, Skeletor.
Really good.
I was like-
He-Man sucks. Prince
Love
Adams.
it.
But he had the little battle damage spinny
Yes.
thing there. Anyway, let's hear. There's more stuff here.
Oh,
I got.
Whoa.
Aaron, your shirt looks great.
Your
Thank
uniform
you.
somehow killed your back.
made
I
you
know. I don't know
teleport.
what happened. That's so weird.
You teleported to new location.
That's so
But
awesome.
it's cool. You can like unsnap it and do like a mariner situation.
Yes.
That's
I want to roll the
so-
sleeves.
Yeah, and they
Yes.
are. It's like well made to where you can. I'm wearing my shirt underneath this, but look, you can totally roll it up. So
That's
it's
awesome.
like, hey, you can get a nice little situation
I couldn't
going
even
there.
sit through this show with long sleeves. If you notice.
Yeah,
started,
I roll
falling
mine
over.
up too. I also got.
It's
look,
actually cold right now.
Nice. Is that
sticker.
Oh, that's awesome.
nice?
That's from me.
That's from Brittany, and I got whoop. Got a card,
Brittany, you sent such good birthday packages.
and another
That was
sticker.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wait,
that's
Brittany got me kick-ass stickers too. I finally put Laurel on my laptop.
I got some
Sure.
cards. I don't know if I should open this. Again,
I opened
suck.
mine. I love them.
I was gonna
I
say I
s-
sent everybody the same amount of things, but you all got different stickers and specific cards and specific film slides.
Oh, you
This
got
is-
film slides too.
this
They're
is-
Yeah, the film site's so
the
awesome.
Enterprise
The
from
hardest part was
TOS.
splitting them up evenly. I was like, this one's really cool, and I thought about what fit who. Oh.
I
Yeah,
love
this one
the
definitely-
Live Long and Prosper you gave me.
Oh, nice.
awesome,
Warp and
nice.
his
Warp.
lady.
I
Yeah.
literally spent an hour deciding what I was gonna give each person. So.
Aw.
And then this is the crew. Wait, I don't know if you can
I
see.
see.
it.
I see. Yep.
Oh, it focused. Oh.
Yeah.
No, the biggest issue here is where I'm gonna put all this, especially with a new baby on the way.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what?
Surprise!
Wait, are you joking?
Whoa! no,
I was
didn't.
wondering when he was gonna tell.
It was just trying to.
You
Yeah.
had another baby?
Yeah.
And only people in the post show know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, eh?
Wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Golf
Eric,
clap.
I was like, is he gonna ever bring it up?
Yeah, no, I was trying to see where I could do it in the show, and I was like, nah, we'll do it in the post show. Yeah, but yeah, July, so that's gonna be.
Oh,
July?
Got a little
Fun.
pickle.
I know.
Aw.
Yeah, my daughters call the we don't know if it's a boy or girl. We call the baby Pickle. So
Aw, do you know boy, girl?
we're not
He-
gonna find out. No,
Oh, okay.
it's okay, Julia.
Pickle. It's just gonna be a pickle.
It's just gonna be
Well-
Pickle.
Well, then this is something that you're going to get a lot less of.
Time is a luxury you don't have.
Nope. I haven't been on my PlayStation in ages.
I know.
Although, for those out in the audience that have PS5s or PS4s, definitely put Control as part of your
Yes.
downloads because it's wonderful. I have been playing it on my very short amounts of time that I have been able to play something, and oh man, it's so good on the PS5. The performance mode is great. Don't play it in the
Yeah.
graphic mode. The graphic mode still has frame rate issues, even on
Mhm.
the PS5, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the
Congrats,
ultimate edition.
dude, that's
free.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay!
Strange new pod baby. Strange new
You-
pod baby shower.
you know-
oh
you know-
shit.
You know what's really funny is that when my first was born, Matt, no, Matt Smith. Who was the doctor after him?
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi was just becoming the doctor, so I got that that sonic screwdriver for her. And then when my second came, it was when Jodie started, so I got
Nice.
that sonic screwdriver.
And then they're gonna do another doctor.
If they're gonna do a new doctor, I'm just gonna get a new.
Supposedly rumored.
Yeah. So, yeah, new
Wow.
babies, fun. Anyway,
That's so
Find that
exciting.
comic.
Dude,
Congrats.
Giraffe is like, yes, baby, and I wrote
Yeah.
lizard baby? Question mark.
Lizard baby.
She
hopefully,
can't hear us.
Is it
She's
lizard
still
baby?
working.
Oh my god. I think I know what I'm going to send you for a gift for a baby.
thank you. Yeah, babies. Fun. Yeah, July. We're
Strange
gonna
new
have our
pod, baby
first
shower.
summer baby and
Oh,
not a
nice.
fall baby or
Mhm.
winter
Yeah.
baby, which is crazy. Name it Cybok. No. No. Although I have some good names, and if I
can't
can
wait.
try and figure out if I can get we have a list, and I'm ever so slowly putting
It's a
some
girl
nerdy
named
names.
Aloy.
What are the nerdy ones on there?
Oh, I can't say.
Laurel.
Then it won't be.
Kara Thrace.
Oh, I would love that way, Kara.
I hope Aloy. If it's
But it's really close to my last name, like Canaria, Kara, Canaria. It's sort of.
Yeah.
It's alliterative. That's like a superhero situation.
Well, we almost did like Arya, but then it's Arya Canaria,
Ooh,
and I was like,
yeah.
that's too close, and because I have two girls. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
So
There's some good ones.
exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're good. We're good. Go. Let's go
Yay.
do our watch
Star Trek.
along.
Watch along.
Thanks for coming back for an encore, guys.
Goodbye again. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'm just gonna post. No, I'm just gonna end it. Goodbye.
Yeah, just end it. Bye.
Bye.